Good evening, world. We're in Lethbridge, Canada for the World Mixed Doubles Curling Championship 2017. It's the last chance for countries to qualify for the Olympics next year in South Korea. A whopping 39 nations is competing, and we'll be coming to you live from the brand new MTB Centre. My name is Sander Ulvåg, and I'm joined by our bubbly mixed doubles curling expert, Kaylin Virtue, to bring you some insight. Good evening, Kaylin.
Hi, Sander.
We'll have Sweden play China this evening in the Group C, session number 4 of our competition. We'll have a look at Group C, and the teams are in, the nations that are in: Poland, Australia, Austria and China. First 4 teams, see Poland picking up a win early on, while Israel, Korea and Sweden yet to play. Netherlands at the bottom, losing out to Poland in that first game and this afternoon. The lineup for Team Sweden today: male player we have Per Norén, female player is Camilla Norén, and the team is coached by Mikael Andersson.
And we have our lineup for Team China. We have Ba Deshen, Wang Rei, and coach Zheng Shipeng.
Maybe you can run us through the rules of the game, Kaylin.
Definitely. So mixed doubles is a little different than your typical curling game. We only see 1 male and 1 female player per team. There's always 1 pre-positioned stone per team per end, with each team throwing 5 stones per end. And games are 8 ends, 22 minutes of thinking time. 1 player throws stones number 1 and 5, the other throwing the middle 3, 2, 3, 4. Players can switch positions between every end if they want to, and there's no takeouts allowed until the 4th thrown stone of the end. Once per game, too, the teams are allowed a power play, and we'll go over that a little bit more during the game.
Thank you so much for that. And yes, we will try and keep you up to date on the rules and run you through how mixed doubles works. As you see, the teams are shaking hands. We're just about to get started. Some final preparation, some final practice slides from both teams being taken. Of course, both teams having that 9-minute practice to get warmed up. And we will see the pre-positioned stones in play. It is Sweden to have the hammer, the last stone advantage, which means Sweden will have the red stone there back at the forefeit. China will throw first. As you see the stone colors, just to confirm, Sweden throwing the red, China the yellow. Yes, it might be a little confusing, yeah. But I think we'll manage. Here is Wang Rei, the 22-year-old with the outturn draw. My question to you, Kaylin, is where do you want this one?
Well, I think every team plays a little bit differently. Typically, I think you'd want it anywhere from the top of the button to the very back one at the back 4 there. Without hammer, it's nice if you get that rock all the way in play and shot.
Well, a little bit shy for weight, but maybe that's better than coming up heavy.
I've seen things go good either way. It's not a bad shot, though. We'll see what they do here.
Camilla Norén plays stones 1 and 5 for Team Sweden. 33 years of curling played. Definitely some experience.
Yes, I've played them. And it's interesting that she's throwing 1 and 5 because the last time I played them, he actually threw 1 and 5. So maybe we'll see them switch here.
Yeah, and they've done quite well at the World Mixed Doubles in prior years as well. So
they have.
Although the run they had last year at home in Karlstad, Sweden, was not the best competition. So mixing it up for this year's competition, the final chance for them to qualify for the Olympics. We'll have our first look at the male player for Team China, Ba Deshen. He's known for playing with Lu Rei. He placed 4th at the Olympics in Sochi in the regular 4-player curling format.
Very technical. Very technical.
Yeah, it's got a sound slide. And, I think we have two very experienced mixed doubles teams out in the ice today.
Yeah, it'll be a great game. A little bit shy, I think, from what they were trying there.
Well, interesting approach here by Sweden. I think we'll see a lot of teams getting really sucked into playing the draw game around the forefoot, but here we're going to see the big weight from Per Norén.
Yeah, I do think that that's something that lots of teams get in trouble with, is that you get so caught up with seeing everything in the forefoot all the time that you don't remember that you can get in some trouble.
Ja, men jag tänkte eftersom du kallar den så pass på träningen.
Ja, men jag spelar ju upp.
Yeah, I think you'll see in the men's and women's curling, if you have the last one advantage, it's generally not a bad option to peel the center guard and
I
open
agree.
things up. Although you have a lot less time though in mixed doubles curling, only with the 5 rocks being thrown per team.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of just a single peel. Usually you're trying to run something back. And I do think that that might be what they were trying there. It's just a little wide.
Yep. So China will just look to replace the guard.
You're going to have to help me with my Swedish. Do some...
I will try and translate. Being Norwegian, Swedish is fairly similar. The Chinese or Mandarin, on the other hand, might be a little harder for me though. Luckily, there's a lot of hand gestures and pointing in curling, so it's easy to pick up what they're thinking.
Yes.
And I believe the run back is called again by Sweden.
I think he's taking the other turn this time.
Yeah, all wide on the out turn. Maybe we'll get it with the in turn.
Over curl.
Yeah, so trying to get that second yellow, just nibbling the top of the 12 foot to open things up, but...
Man börjar med en sån här raket eller?
Ja, den där rörde sig. Den gjorde inte din out.
Nej, precis. Det kan ju vara lite att jag höjde lite inåt också.
Yeah, married couple. I think I've been watching them at the Worlds before, and what I generally see with the Swedish side is they do communicate very well. And they communicate quite a lot, actually. And they always keep the talk going about the ice, about releases, just everything, really.
They're very positive with each other, which is great.
You think it'd be easier or harder to keep positive if you're playing with your spouse?
No comment, Sander. I don't want to get in trouble. No, it is a hard thing to do, playing with your spouse out there. I've had one time try.
It didn't go so well, or?
Let's just say no. It was fun, though.
The guard is replaced yet again. So we're down to Sweden's penultimate stone here. Pretty much going to have to make it this time. Third time's a charm, perhaps, for Per Norén.
It's a really hard thing to do, to throw those accurate runbacks and get up and sweep them.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I would necessarily sweep it at all.
Or you have the person sweep it, I think, if you need it.
I think I've seen players sometimes prefer to have a broom to throw at.
I would think that's usually what we do, and then just really no sweeping involved with a high hard one.
行
你看我那俩其实都挺小，感觉
，15秒。
15秒。
So it is China still lying shot stone here.
It's interesting too because they actually with the guard that they rolled off there, it makes that draw kind of
2曲啊，只是线路。
impossible on the in-turn.
线路。
哦，
2曲。
可以等一等，等线就行。
下线。
应该能下
The
来
out
吧？
turn should still be available
Yeah.
though
3曲。
for
我能
Sweden.
下线。
3曲力量。
上去了。
And with a nice guard here from Wang Rui.
啊，顶线。
力量非常好。
That will probably be the call. You see Camila Norén already on her way down to the hack. I think they made up their mind here.
这么滑，但是得亏是错脚这边的。
Well,
再磕碜一点啊。
Sweden came off to a bad start in this end, but by peeling the guard,
倒的还行。
there's no additional pressure put on them,
输了也还行，
at least. They're only facing the one.
Yeah, and they have a chance to get their one here too. So
I think sometimes you might get a little too stuck in and end up facing 3 or 4. It might even have a shot left. So they play this pair fairly cautious, and
Oj då, ingenting då.
definitely not the worst situation.
Hur känns den?
last rock of the first end.
Kanske.
Han var med.
Well, no big sweep for the moment.
Hårt!
Maybe coming down here at the end, grabbing some curl.
A little bit heavy, but it's a nice try.
It will be still a one for Team China.
Nej, inte jättenära. Jag tyckte att den...
För den var för lång hela tiden.
Ja, men
And again,
fortsätt att prata farten.
Ja,
communication.
men för lång hela tiden. Det sa jag
Always
hela
key for
tiden.
Team Sweden.
Nu tänkte jag, nu såg
China's up. We'll be back with the second end shortly.
这个
543，我用543。
So the umpire is out there putting these rocks up before the second end gets underway. Sweden will retain hammer. And China picking up a steal in the first end. Wang Rui. Throw the out turn once more.
线路没问题，顶线擦就行。线路开顶线擦，大哥，有点小吧？
来上一个。
The ice looks really nice.
再来一点，再来一点，别停。
Coming up just a bit light.
要挡旋球。
That sometimes causes a little bit of trouble
别着，
for teams, but we'll see what Sweden
一点点。
plays here.
我按14秒。
I guess this next shot from Sweden is pretty key that it stays in front of the tee line.
Yeah, definitely. If they could ever tuck one around there, fully buried, China's going to have a hard time
Samma fart som
keeping
dem.
them to
Ja,
2, really.
ja. Så
Hard to get it by that second one.
ja, det är bra jobbat.
That's pretty good sweeping.
Couple of short draws coming home. I'd figured the ice would be on the keenest bit coming home after all they are playing the same path as they would do in pre-game practice for the draw shot challenge.
下了好，直接就站死，是吧？ 56。
行。5。
快点，我感觉离他小点。
We have a familiar face in the stands here helping out Team China. Marcel Rock on board as I think their national program leader.
看球，再会。
Yeah, he's done quite well.
Yeah, definitely an asset to have him on board.
And alongside him, the team coach, Zhang Shipang. Probably helps out a little bit of translating for Marcel Rock.
Yeah, definitely.
再往上一点，不长啊，得过了一点就行。
I heard one story of Marcel Rock working with the men's and women's teams, focusing on team cohesion. He drove them both out in the woods, gave them a tent, and left them there and said, the skip can't do everything. And left them to figure it out and survive the night.
Well, there you go.
Can't say if the story is 100% accurate, but
That seems like something he'd do, I
Yeah.
think, from what I know of him.
that sounds like a pretty good plan.
Team building exercise.
Kom igen, ligger bra. Kom igen, hårt. Bra.
Nice little shot there.
Great shot.
And here's team coach for Sweden, Mikael Andersson. He's been playing with these guys since they were young,
Alltså han ligger
and he's
sådär.
followed this mixed doubles team as a coach in the last 4 or 5 years.
Another familiar face, Alison Kraviatsik there with him. I think she's hoping mixed doubles in the juniors or something like that.
Yep. So, Canadian on each bench.
team. Yeah, interesting.
Well, we've been seeing quite a lot of that in recent years.
We have.
Glenn Howard is now coaching Eve Muirhead's team. You have Ian Tetley coaching David Murdoch's team.
下线。
Mike Harris with Tom Brewster. They're
Well,
just
I think-
outsourcing everywhere.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, to see the world developing as quickly as Canadians can, it just keeps everything that much more competitive at this level. It's really nice to see.
I think we've had some critics from Canada. Not
think
some
so.
people not wanting to help out all the other nations, but
I think I might be getting in trouble with that comment, but I think it's all right. It's great to see these teams improving.
I think it would be curling would be very boring if Canada was going to win every time. So I think it's very good that they're able to share their knowledge, and
Spelar ungefär på deras gula där.
the game's definitely been developing rapidly in the last decade.
Especially this mixed doubles. It's great that it's gotten so big in such a short period of time.
39 nations participating in this competition. It's remarkable.
It is.
As we see Per Norén
Lugnt då. Kommer svänga nu.
playing an intern draw here to lie 2 and behind cover.
Okej.
Här är Gardner.
They're getting a little bit caught on that big curl at the end. The finish there.
Well, does crash on the guard.
Not a bad shot though.
稍微大点劲儿 OK。我稍微提点劲儿。
Doesn't have
Den är ju inte så lång som på
too
klockan.
much rotation, Per Norén. Might tend to curl a bit more than others. Generally, less rotation on the rock's handle means more curl, and the other way around.
I wasn't sure. I think they're just playing the out-turn draw here. I didn't see what they mentioned.
Definitely, it looks like it. The outturn would be the counterclockwise rotation for
差不多我感觉。
a right-handed
劲
player.
儿了，这个时候。
And you'll see the big swing at the end here. See the rock is almost 4 feet away from the center line. And then we get close to the hog line. Some of the weight comes off the rock. It really start moving towards the center.
别磕。No。
Great finish.
This looks like a great shot here.
Whoa. Freeze。
Peach.
That's capitalizing on opportunity.
害怕他那啥，
没事，这球后面滑。
我觉得
Very
站
big in
上
this
它
discipline.
磕一点不也行吗？
行，
然后
因为这个我感觉劲儿肯定够，所以我才。
啊，
With only the 5 stones, it's often tricky to remember that if you get a chance, you need to really pounce on that because you might not get it again.
Yeah, especially in mixed doubles curling, sometimes you can save an end with one good freeze.
Exactly. You often see the freeze as almost a defensive play, like there.
Yep.
He doesn't make that. Sweden set up for a really big end.
Yeah, definitely close down the scoring area here. So Parnoren needing to come to the face of this Chinese counter.
Coming in here nicely. There's that big curl we were talking about. That's a great shot.
Very nice. The only problem though is how do you get your second shot in
Yeah.
there?
他这个传完好像也是打得进。
I think that's what they're talking about right now is what does he have for more than one?
他就拿这个，那就给他这样把这个球给他占上呢，你感觉呢？他这边磕完还是咱的进，
这边
不
吧，
磕完他一个
What would
进。
you want to play,
那打这边
Sander?
点，
Well, you're the expert, Kaelin.
因为那边的话你站
I should be asking you these questions.
是再粘一个。
But I believe, well,
也行。
first question is, can Sweden ever come to the same stone on the nose, tap it enough for 2?
Right.
Or is
行吗？
will they be able to move the yellow far enough? If they think that's available, I guess you just throw the guard on this, and I'm not really sure how Sweden scores 2 without taking a big risk.
I agree.
Does look like they will throw something on the right side of the sheet here.
I definitely think that's the right side to protect. That angle run back over here is looking pretty tricky.
Three, 4, 5.
啊，
5区
接，
4, 5。
可以正常擦，线路没问题，可以下点线吗？
5区。
哦，
Wang Ray, another young player with a ton of experience.
下线还得下线，
22 years old.
线路。
哦，下线下线擦，下线下线，
OK。
Yep, 22 years old. She's played 106 official WCF games.
直吗？还是？
That's pretty good.
那你用起二。起二可以用。
直滑吗？
还行，出。
Did return for the World Women's Curling Championship in Beijing.
Men alltså det är ju en take för kanske få 2 där.
Are they
Spela
talking
så
about
här
a
då.
tap here,
Vi
Sander?
får hellre trycka den hit då. Om du spelar på den där.
Clearly, your Swedish isn't too bad either.
That week I spent over there last year really helped with that. Learned a lot.
Vad heter det?
但卡控的话，
Det här ska ju inte vara så mycket eller fartökning.
哎，
Jag säger 80. Det får inte vara hårdare tror jag.
来，
I may not know Swedish, but that sounds like
Om du
good
spelar
communication
samma
in
mitt
the
på
hack.
blott som du gjorde på dragningen.
Yeah, just talking over the weight here. Split times. So last rock of the second end, pretty tricky shot for Camila Norén. This is a fairly delicate tap up to the button, not a lot of real estate to work with.
Looks very close. It is a little bit scary too throwing that, because if you ever overthrow it and you move your red one at all,
Ja.
Well, comes up a bit short, and it will only be the score of 1 for Sweden. So tied up after 2 ends. We have 6 more to go.
De där, ska man göra de där uppgifterna så jag tror man ska hålla fot mycket. För när man väl börjar curla, då är ju borta på en gång.
这个咱后手。
Där du träffar nu.
咱可以上上。
来， Ja, försiktigt då.
The third end is underway. Tied game between Sweden and China.
Börja få hygglig linje, så
It's
håll dig
a
nära.
close
Håll dig
fought
nära.
game so far, just like we expected. But China has turned the hammer, so to speak.
This is a good shot here. Camilla.
Kör送了一点啊。
OK，6
可以
极限，
下线吗？
可以
可以
极限，
下线，下线。
力量可以，
力量可以下线，八哥。
力量大，
真的下线。
那也不能
Lots
传
of
力量大。
communication there as well.
下线。
All the way is laughing.
顶
It's
线
good.
过来，擦一擦，二，
站好，
擦一擦，擦一擦，擦一擦。
I've played them a few times as well, and both of these teams are very happy out on the ice. Not too intense.
可能是
It's good.
那把往那边打的是，那块可能下得慢，
出手的呀，
但这还行，下来了。
下来了。
I think that's a big thing at these World Championships is staying loose out there and having fun.
I think that's becoming increasingly harder to do, though, when you
It is.
have the pressure on you to try and qualify your nation for the Olympics. And I think especially so for this Swedish couple, having failed to pick up any points last year. They have it all to do this time here in Lethbridge.
60，
Trodde inte det var så här långt.
Yeah, definitely a lot on the line this year.
Only 7 spots
一半一半的点就行。
with 8 teams competing in the mixed doubles.
这线路不好。
Korea, as host nation, will have one of those spots. So 39 nations battling for 7 spots. You know, it's pretty tough.
It is, and mixed doubles, anyone can win. I mean, it's anyone's game.
放点小点儿，还行
我。也感觉小点儿。
OK，
It's going to be an exciting week to see what happens here.
下得非常好。
We already had a few upsets this morning.
再擦一擦。
Two-time world champion Hungary lost to Belarus.
Wow.
A pretty interesting game. They were down 1-7, came back, put it into an extra end, but lost it. And those things can happen in mixed doubles curling.
It happens so fast.
Stannar vi så här är helt okej, eller så här.
It's hard to play defensive.
Yeah,
Samma is då. Ska jag komma ner eller?
feel like
Nej då.
playing this game, the defense is something that you learn over time. The offense is a little bit easier. I think he's trying the freeze here.
As you so often do in this format.
Yes. When in doubt, play the freeze.
So you can see the rotation here on Noren's rock. Just coming off, and it's really bending on him. He's not quite getting the not quite the same curve as you'll see Bahadur Shin's draws, for instance. Which could be a good thing. If you're able to curl a foot more than your opponent, it'll be harder for them to follow you, but
Törs man inte ge på
sometimes a
lika
little harder to
mycket.
control as well.
Den är lång, ja, då blir den-
I definitely think without having sweepers, it can be a little bit harder on line call and everything if you don't throw a lot of rotation.
甩吧。
差不多，磕定够，踏板够打定，
磕定
长线打定
的话，它就这样了。
I think they're talking about
打
this
定把这个球给他。
red one that he just threw because it is in a pretty good spot for Sweden right now, and it's tough to remove.
Maybe just tap it back then and create a bit of a nest, bit of a wall behind the hills.
Yeah, I think and just roll right to the center line is what he was saying there.
三分边儿。
边大一点点，定。
Looks like you can look at Badashin's chest, and there's a bit of residue from the World Men's Curling Championship crest from Edmonton, I believe.
Yeah. That's a funny problem to have. I play in way too many World Championships. I need to take crests off.
Playing a bit of weight on this one.
Yeah, that's
surprising. And stays a little too high, jams it.
they're one of the teams that definitely utilizes the finish sweeping technique. Some mixed doubles teams you don't see them switch a lot with the sweeping.
And when you say finish, you mean like the carving at the end, not
Yes.
finish as in Finland, the country.
No. Yeah, I guess, yeah, I need to be careful with that.
Yeah, we see teams employ different ways of sweeping, I guess. Some players don't feel like they get too much from the carving, as we saw last year with the very abrasive pads. I'm sure teams will have practiced a lot.
New techniques next year, I'm sure. It's always tough to switch when you're sweeping as well, when you don't have your gripper on, because you're awkwardly kind of pulling yourself along the ice. So oftentimes you don't see people switch just because they're not comfortable on the other side of the stone.
I think most teams agree that you can get a little bit of extra finish sweeping with the curl on draws, but when you start playing like a hack weight, you know, does the decrease in friction make up for the amount of carving you're getting? Is it going to balance out?
Yeah, who knows? I haven't done enough testing myself.
Not me either, so I'll just have to watch the top players and just figure that they're doing it for a good reason.
I'll listen to my Skip and Charlie and see what happens.
Just do as you're told.
Exactly.
Nice little draw into the button for Parnoren.
Badashin has a bit of a wall back there now.
Never come to the shot stone here and move it up a foot. Looking pretty close.
Yeah, two very strong sweepers too. Not only utilizing the carving techniques, but also really good form and pressure on the broom.
Doesn't quite get the tap that we're looking for. You can see the action here. Actually ends up rubbing off their own yellow, takes some of the pace off the thrown rock.
It's not a bad stone though.
I wonder if Sweden's lying too.
It's pretty tough to tell, isn't it? Sweden's definitely going to have to worry about that stone though. It's in a good spot to move forward.
Den där som de drar dit nu, de kan ju inte trycka in den något längre.
Nej, precis.
I guess the problem for China is,
tro fart.
you know, we're already down to the penultimate stone here.
Lite längre ut nu.
Ja, jag tror jag kan spela.
Not sure how China is scoring to as it lies.
Tror du?
Ja, prova det då.
I think Sweden's just throwing a guard.
13.
I think you're right.
Jag tror det bara stanna i riktning.
Not quite sure what China will be left with here.
Hur lång är den?
Ja, jag vill bara att den ska stanna.
Ja, kan vi styra ut
Nej,
alltså?
den kan inte komma dit.
This one over curling,
Over curling.
but we'll see if it makes a difference.
Jag tror väl jag pratar med någon om de där hur vi ska göra.
Can they play a slash? It's pretty tough.
Might just clip the back of that, but I'd be worried about it kind of spinning back onto the one in the very back forefoot.
对吧
行？
正常大一点，
三边。
打到这儿。
行。
嘿，
再打薄一点。
This will be an exciting shot to watch.
I'm not 100% sure if it's there, but there's no risk to it. So the thought here is to
Jag menar, vi måste hitta på ett
slash
koncept om
the
vi ska ut så
Yellowstone
här långt.
on the side of
Man
the
måste
forefoot
sätta sjukt
in and spill the reds.
Nej, precis.
You almost have to throw it like you're going to miss it. You have to hit it so thin. Barely clipping it with a lot of weight might get some things moving.
Well, we'll see what Wang Rei can produce here. Last stone, third end. Throwing a bullet down the ice here.
It's close if she's got a piece.
I don't think it's there. Zooming past everything. And the question is, how many is it? Is it one or is it two? We might have our first measure.
There we go.
So one for sure. Favor of Sweden. Broom is down to signal that
比较大力的话就稍微给一点。
we need a
没事。
measure. The umpire will make its way, or his way, onto the ice. You want to make it? You want to make a bet here, Kaylin?
但这个不是，这个我看你输了。
I would bet you coffee, but you don't like that. I'm gonna say it is
因为现在场地有点
red.
直了。这
我感觉好
I'll go yellow then, just for the.
Excitement.
一直这样，就是它也不往上，就一直是直的。
The umpires are generally pretty good at hiding the dial.
Yeah, here we go.
You just see it moving.
Overhead.
And that's gonna be red, I think. And it is
Oh.
red.
Sandra owes me a coffee.
I'm not sure if you need more caffeine, Kaylin.
You're probably right.
Badashin will ask to do it once more. Felt like it was tight enough to double check.
Oh, it is very close.
Past a quarter for sure. It's not for Leo.
Yeah.
Definitely red, so big steal of 2 for Team Sweden. They bounce back after 3 ends of play. Sweden is up 3-1. We'll be back with the 4th end in just a few moments.
好不好？
97.
Av. Ja.
Camilla Norén throws the first stone here in end 4. Big steal of 2 for Sweden. Means they're up 3-1.
Yeah, and this is the time where you don't want this rock to come up short. You ideally, after a big steal like that, you'd want to see it deep to that stone in the back button, just to shrink the scoring area for Team China.
So you mean that
5区啊。
coming up short, it's almost like a guard for China?
Exactly. Yeah, especially with all this curl out there, it's not impossible to bury a stone around that one that Camilla just threw.
极限8区。
哇，八哥，量大呀！
Then again, if Wang Rei comes up heavy like that, and Sweden comes and plays the freeze, it's now double guarded.
Yes, you're right about that.
A lot of swings and roundabouts
Yes.
in mixed doubles. You have to tread so carefully.
definitely a game of precision.
Yeah, I feel like opportunities are they're taken and lost ever so quickly. Just back and forth as we see Parnoren now. Maybe just
Doesn't appear that he likes it standing back there.
well, this is my point exactly.
Yes.
Opportunity lost. A good freeze there.
Yeah, and if Ba gets one in here, Sweden's going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, you might see Sweden have to play the run back.
Yeah, and if you ever get the double peel even, you're looking at scoring again, possibly.
让他不够站就行。我就按5虚投这球，
行，
就不能投大，大了他一粘咱就废了。
比半半大一点点。
OK。
蹬上。
喂，你比他小一点，还行。猜他线路。开一个，过来，看线。
点线，点线。
够不够过？
Big sweep from Badashin. Coming to the forefoot, possibly lie 3, but coming up short. We'll have a look at some of the other scores, Kaylin.
Yeah, we have Korea 3-1 over Australia, Austria 6-1 over Israel, Ireland 3-0 over Italy, and Switzerland's up 5-3 over Romania.
Yeah, so if you're wondering what all the racket was in the background, that's 4 other games ongoing.
Så här, jag tror det kanske är olika hur vi spelar. Du hade ju 75 på den hit.
Get some more communication down here in the hack.
Men vad tror vi då? 90?
Ja, jag är osäker på min fart. Men...
Well, that was a great chance for Badashin to put a stone top 4. Currently, the pin is still available for Sweden. So again, Parnoren with a great chance to salvage the end here.
Okay.
75.
Ja, de här då.
Japp.
Yeah, China did cut off that side of the sheet, though, for Sweden. So now they've been forced to play the other side of the sheet.
Well, this is moving big, Kaylin.
Yes.
Plan B.
I do think it's that softer rotation, but they also hadn't played over there yet either, so...
Det är väl olika spår helt
I
enkelt.
feel like the intern coming home is moving quite a bit in the second end as well. Maybe just a tad more curl on that side.
Det gäller att ha rätt fart.
It's so easy for us to see that up here, you know, Sander.
In the end, gets a nibble of the forefoot. Perhaps usable for Sweden.
三边大一点点，三边肯定小。
行。
We'll see if China will choose to come around once more. Throwing the out turn, so I think they're actually playing the
Tap, it looks like.
yeah, it's like short run back on the
With down weight.
yeah, try to remove that red stone nibbling the forefoot, so Sweden can't use it. And it will do so nicely, but rolls away.
Bit of an opportunity here for Sweden if they can ever make a perfect kind of roll off of that one that Bot has hit over on the left side of the screen.
Det ska ju vara mjukt alltså. Vi kan ju inte vicka skott där.
Nej.
Hoping to catch that just an inch higher
Så ligger vi bättre än den. Och det
and line the yells up.
Och du ser att den kommer inte stanna.
And that's another tough thing about mixed doubles as well, without a designated line caller in the house there on those shots. That makes the degree of difficulty for the precision that much higher.
Which begs the question, would it be easier to just play the out turn freeze here, or a hit and roll? I don't know. Not sure how high percentage of a shot that is in mixed doubles.
Yeah, I think that playing it with a little bit less weight, you might have a little bit more room for error, definitely. But then you're leaving more of the opposition stones in the rings as well.
Lite hårdare mjuk.
Var med!
Lite hårdare mjuk.
Nej, inget. Var med på vicken. Kör!
Pretty good attempt there.
Yeah, great attempt.
Bra.
Just gets the inside buried. Definitely usable for Sweden. Bit of a nuisance for China.
Det är liksom...
Yeah, they have to think about what they're gonna do here.
好比赛这边有一传
在这边一传，
啊，这样呢，
然后不行
等会儿等
就
打这个他应该差不多能挤着他，要是不行头都往外甩，然
I
后这
think
个
the
得甩
in-turn
过来
draw
这样
is still
传线
available, but then Sweden will have
行吗？
this red rock to angle in there.
I think Badashin was actually looking to maybe make a play on the top yellow and
这样这一大半儿啊！
bounce off the top red onto the stone just played by Panoren.
差不多，基本上
That's
差
a
不
bit
多
of a
还是刚才
fancy
那
one.
样比刚才大
It
一点
is.
过去蹭一点，正好能给他挤回来。
But potentially could be lying
实际上我把这些挂
three. Again, just with controlled weight.
哦 close，二
Just want to catch the Yellowstone top 12. A little bit on the high side here.
go hard。
Starting to bend big here. Going to crash on the guard.
And there's a bit of an opportunity for Sweden again. And that's another thing too, is that a 2-point lead is
Det här
not
är helt
that
okej, skrubba
big
hit,
of a
så
lead
du
in,
bara skrubbar
in
in
this,
den.
with all the opportunities to score multiples.
And now I believe the call is the tap up on the red stone here. Will you have to be careful with where the shooter ends up on this one?
Det är egentligen bara
I would think
dragfart,
so,
för trycker du
especially
den 1,5
taking into
sten så
account
ligger den i
this
frys.
team from China can hit quite well. You'd hate to kind of roll into the open and leave a double available.
It's either catch it thick and leave your shooter high, or catch it thin and try and roll deep.
It's another precise shot here. I think ideally she wants to perfectly tap it to frozen on that one in the back of the button.
Kan vara lite lång.
Ja, den är inte på träff.
Den är lite lång.
Looks heavy and wide here from Camilla
Kommer
Norén.
på träff.
Nej, kanske.
Oh, we're not going to catch anything there. So China lying 2.
Det är synd då.
It will be a free draw to the forfeit to pick up 3 points.
Back in the game.
Jag ökar ju lite is jag också för att göra bara dragningen. Har jag haft samma is med den farten
It's
då?
always good to score multiples in the even ends when you have hammer.
Yeah, how much do you think about controlling the even ends in mixed doubles? As much as men's and women's play, or less?
I think less. I personally think it's less, just because it's a setup end every time. It's the same situation, so it's hard to either say you're going to get 2 here.
Yeah, it's
you know.
less predictable,
Definitely.
and you can't really blank ends either, can you?
You can't blank ends, and you have to think about the power play.
Yep.
极限。
线路靠外侧，能下线
Well,
吗？
last stone of the 4th end here. Great chance for Guan Gray and Team China.
直立的，直立的
Looks
下线场。
pretty good here.
Yeah, a little bit wide, so by the shin, trying to work it in, looking pretty sweet.
A very nice shot.
That's 3 points up on the board for China. So they bounce back after giving up that steal of 2 in the 3rd end.
过来的是
稍微碎一点。
And as we head into the halftime break, China will lead it 4 shots to 3. We'll be back shortly with some highlights. And of course, the rest of this exciting matchup.
Richtig gemacht, ja, ein bisschen tappen ist auch gut.
second end between Sweden and China in this evening's game. China steals one in the first. Here it's Camila Norén looking for a very delicate tap up to score two. Doesn't come off, so just a single point for the Swedes. Tied game after two. In the third end, Sweden lying the two. Really tough shot for Wang Rei, looking to slash her Yellowstone in there. Doesn't make contact, so after a measure, Sweden actually picking up a steal of two there. Looking good after 3 ends of play. And right before the halftime break, Wang Rei with a perfect chance of drawing the forfeit and pick up 3 points. The draw is made. So after 4 ends of play, China up by 1. And we're just about to get things started with the fifth end as we take a look at some of the stats. 63% for Sweden, 65% for China. Not much to choose from. And although you will expect to see lower numbers in mixed doubles curling, it hasn't been the best of games so far, but of course it is the first game for both teams, so just getting used to the ice and everything. I'm sure we'll see them pick up their play more and more throughout the week. Although I have to say the ice conditions look very good already on day one. And if you're just joining our broadcast, you're listening to myself, Sander Elvåg, and our mixed doubles expert, Kaylin Virtue.
Thanks, Sander. Hardly an expert.
Well, you've played the world, so you're an expert over me any day.
Have you even ever tried?
I did play nationals a couple of times back in the day. Yeah, back in the good old days when the stone was back a button, not back four.
That's when I was playing too. Well, still playing, but at the Worlds in Sochi, that's where the rock was as well.
Yeah, it was good fun playing though. It's just that I have a hard time finding any girl that actually wants to play with me. So
I've been sitting here for, I don't know, how long have we been sitting out here, and I've already wanted to leave. Just kidding.
Thank you very much.
Just kidding, everyone. Sander's looking for a mixed doubles partner. So we got an end set up here, quite nicely for Sweden.
Här spelar jag 13 på min gard.
Well, I can overhear the Swedes talk a lot about split times. Now again, it's been a long time since I was playing mixed doubles, but I generally feel that maybe you don't focus too much on split times, but rather just go with the feel. Or are there different approaches to that?
I think it's personal preference, definitely. Like for me, I usually just use the hog line times. It's easier to manage when there's only 2 of you out there. And it's also up to your partner too, what they relate to the best. So I think either way works as long as both of you are on board.
Den måste försöka komma hit då. Smiter vi den så är vi i frysningen naturligtvis. Då kan han bomba på dig en kvar.
Timing is very good in this game, just to manage the ice conditions. If you notice a big drastic difference in a time, you can often think that maybe the ice is slowing down. It's kind of a good indication of what you might need to throw on your last shot. That's what I like to use it for.
Yeah, and you can also, for the hog to hog, you can even time your opponent's draws.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's probably easier.
Yeah, and with the split times too, it's hard because everyone throws so differently. So if you have an extension, more rotation, all those factors come into play.
Just feel in mixed doubles you obviously play more stones than more of the stones than in the four-player team format, and you generally play a lot of draws, so
Yeah.
might be less incentive to use split times. As if you're playing maybe second on a four-player team, you might be throwing hits for the first 5 ends, and then you have to play a draw, and then you really have to rely on maybe a split time.
Definitely.
As we see Per Norén setting up pretty much a sofa from IKEA in the back of the forefoot.
The Great Wall of China? Is that going too far?
No, I think that's applicable.
Yes, I think they're pretty happy that that happened. Team China, that is.
You ever put one on the button here, pretty hard to get out.
Yeah, it's looking like a good steal opportunity here.
Wow, 力量还行啊。
8、7、8、7、8、
Whoa. No, wait.
8、
Hard.
And a steal meaning that Team China would score when they don't have hammer.
Well, that's how they started the game.
And that's a great shot.
再掉一点哈，把他们给这个球再给磕平一点，这样咱俩打不进。这样可以打到那个有可能转出来。
Spelar vi hit den här så här nu, så kommer jag ju garanterat spela den, eller hur?
It's a little bit more thinking going on now.
Om vi kommer hit, studsar han ut då? Det kanske han. Jag vill nog prova att spela dit
At
den
this
då.
point, you almost have to kind of switch gears and either think about only giving China one, potentially maybe using your power play in the next end to generate a deuce or 2 points.
Wonder if there's just enough room to get shot stone here.
Yeah, it's a tough shot, but it is there.
Remember Per Norén's out turn, maybe swinging just a bit more, might come in a little bit more sideways.
Yeah, that softer handle on the release.
Bättre fart!
Ja, ligger långt ut.
Threw this one all wide though, Kaelin. See if it
it'll be-
comes back. This would be the side that would curl more.
It's got a little bit lighter weight here, which
That really moved, actually. Is there any way, if you throw it all wider, you might be catching a bit of frost and get more curl? Does that ever happen?
I definitely think so, especially out here when you're not playing in the wings. Like those wings haven't seen any stones, so it's definitely a bit fresh out there. And I think that the rock just grabs the pebble,
Yeah.
makes it curl.
And definitely not a lot of frost in here. Just that tiny film, if you want,
Yeah,
at the start.
and without rocks being thrown down the ice, obviously the ice sits there and it gets heavier. So I think that he might have been tricked a bit and he got a bit wide, and he didn't account for that in his kick, and he was just light.
Well, that's a big thing in mixed doubles as well, like just keeping a track of the different paths a lot, yeah?
Yeah, and that's kind of where that timing comes in, because you definitely notice it with that, but also you have to be honest with yourself when you let the rock go.
底线，
Well, this draw from Bang Ray was
不够稳，别擦了，不够。
not as wide as Per Norén's even.
No,
Curls about the same spot. So definitely
力量还行，
definitely curls on this left-hand side here.
主要掉不够，对，线路不够了。
the players will be happy about that curl, though. It's nice playing mixed doubles with that big swing.
你是打呀，打肯定
Makes those come arounds on the first few shots a lot more enjoyable. Now they've got to
Sätta den där här.
think about this shot
Testa sätta
carefully.
den förbi den där och går den inte förbi så
Vilken då menar du?
den där.
Ja, men den där ligger ju kvar.
Ja, jag vet, men
Och,
vi måste ju ha 2 träffar, annars får vi
Ja,
aldrig bort den.
men sätter vi den här så här bort. Då ligger det 1, 2, 3 gula.
Ja, vad ska vi göra? Sätta
Det är
ner.
mer att sätta den här och kanske försöka spinna bort lite så att det finns en väg in.
Ja. Då spelar den så här då.
Sätter du den spikrakt ner kanske lite ditåt ska man ju skjuta.
Ja.
Yeah, Sander, if you could give us a little rundown on what they're talking about out there.
I'm not sure if I have time, Killen. And in the end, I think they're playing a run back on the guard. Just trying to open things up.
Yeah, I think this is one of those situations where you throw it and you see what happens. Hope for the best.
A little bit of an extension there. Couldn't quite find the sweet spot in the first end with these runbacks. This is closer, but a little bit unlucky. Picks his zone stone top 8 and doesn't really rattle any stones in the top 8.
Yeah, and he left that guard up there, which is
Man bara rörde in där.
a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, so close, but in the end, that doesn't really produce much for the Swedes.
Tänk den här, slår man här förbi så ligger det bara 3 gula och en
Ja,
röd
ändra
kvar.
mig på den du.
We'll see if China can capitalize here. I'm not sure if Sweden has a shot for one as it lies. The question is, does China want to risk it and try and get a second shot in there?
I think this is the situation where you have to kind of not be too greedy and understand that scoring 1 here is still really good for China.
出手稍微顶着点儿，主要
I
是
would
在外边那个
probably suggest a guard here, but
没事
稍微带着点，
没事，不用
主要
担心。
是线啊。
OK，
it appears that's what they're doing.
30、34啊，
Yeah, going well wide on this one.
5区，
Outside the rings, really.
Yeah.
4区，
This-
We're barely almost on the boards with this one. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's going to finish up.
再来点，再来点。
Huge swing in here.
A lot of curl out there.
And I think they were just guarding that stone nibbling the top 4. There's maybe a potential double there. And Sweden knows that there's really nothing left for them to throw. And I'll just throw away this last stone of the 5th end. And it will be a steal 1 for China. Yeah, no need to think about it too much. If you know your beat, your beat.
Accept it and move on.
3 ends to go. China's up
昨
by
天跟今
2.
天不一样了，今天场地稍微变直一点。
也是。
磕
不能
3颗
大，，
轻磕轻磕。
不能动，这力量大。哇，下线。
China scores another point in the 5th end. They're up by 2. Wang Rui
下线带着。
will throw the first stone of the 6th end.
这线路大呀。
Now, this is a situation where Sweden definitely could have capitalized and used their power play,
哎呦我的妈呀！
but that's a very good shot for China.
都打赢
Sweeper's
不了
delight.
这个送
Not a stroke to it.
四个了，
and it's
绝对
perfect.
四了。这球看着都像90区，你知道吗？
我这点打的他，
但是看着像90
啪一
区。
送上去。
Well, it's not the toughest schedule for the mixed doubles teams. I think they more or less play a game a day.
84.
Yeah, you gotta kind of wonder about that. And lots of downtime.
Är det bara en dragning?
We played up on Spiel not long ago, and I think we played 4 games in one day.
Yep.
And I mean, that's a lot, but I like playing. I don't know.
Yeah, we're just mentioning how Bruce Mount and Gina Aiken, they won an event in Bern. They played 10 games in 3 days.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Definitely different than playing 7 games in 5 or 6 days.
Yeah, building up the sweeping endurance when you're playing that many games in a short period of time.
OK，试试。
Do you have, yeah, what do you do with the time off in Lethbridge? You live here, you should know.
Yeah, Lethbridge, I don't even know what to tell you. There's things to see. Go see the bridge, have a coffee downtown. There's some cute little coffee shops.
青稞，黑科。
You're not selling it to me here, Kaylin.
You don't like coffee.
Let's take a look elsewhere in the arena.
Yeah, so Korea 4-1 over Australia. Austria is up 8-1 over Israel. Ireland's up 4-1 over Italy, and Switzerland's got a lead over Romania 9-6.
Yeah, big scoring game next to our sheet. Or 2 sheets over, really.
Yeah.
I believe we saw 6 scored already today.
Oh, wow.
Earlier.
That's crazy when that happens, really.
Yeah.
Get that guard in play is... I've seen that happen where the guard is in play.
So stealing 6.
Yes.
That's pretty tough to do.
Yeah, it was interesting.
You basically need your opponent to tap your guard
That's
into
exactly
the
what
house.
happened.
Nej, behöver kalla.
Yeah, that's got a sting.
Anna. Japp. Japp. Hårt. Hårt.
I think I got the lineup here. Moved it around a bit.
Just over curled, couldn't stay on the face.
Ledsen.
一半。
一半。
他俩球是平的吗？
一小半，
一小半，能打球边大一点。
打到这块儿，就是你这个方向打到这儿，
OK。
一小半。
So I believe Ba, the shin here, will throw the slash double
Ready, go.
on the reds. I think even if you're a tad narrow here, you might get the double off the yellow on the back.
Definitely. It's very close.
he's gonna make it
Great
perfect.
shot. It's a strength of his, I would say. Playing them a few times, they're excellent hitters.
Yeah, not too much hitting in mixed doubles, but when you have the opportunity, that's a powerful tool to have.
Definitely. Like watching Norway earlier, Magnus can throw that high hard one, and that's a definite tool to have.
And then we'll see the high hard one from Pad Norén as well. Pretty accurate on his previous run back attempt. But this one, not sure if it's going to get there. Just runs it past. At least opens up the front, but you just know China's going to replace that guard.
Yeah, and the guard is something too that becomes tricky with only 2 of you out there. You gotta really communicate with the guard, because guards are often do or die. You need to make it to put pressure on the other team. So it's tricky with the line and the weight. You don't throw a lot of them.
Especially with this amount of curl you have. It's harder to control the line, and
我感觉还行，3区。
It's amazing how a simple shot like this can become so tough with only 2 of
下
you.
线底线，
yeah, and with the amount of finish,
不动不告3
if you just throw a sliver, you know your opponent might be able to get to your shot zone. So
Yeah, definitely.
And
And you leave it too high, and they can definitely come in there now.
没事儿，我完事儿了。
Nu lägger jag till en till.
Ja, du vill dra hit.
well, pretty brave call here now from Parnoren.
I quite like it. I think that with only 2 stones remaining, you kind of have to make something here.
Yeah, because if you're just running the guard off again, don't make contact, you might see China place their next one in a spot where you can't score.
Exactly. At least they have a chance here to get one in there.
Big trouble though if you miss it.
Yeah. Big trouble either way. Miss the run back or this draw.
True.
Ja. Ja.
Team China's had such good weight control with their draws this game. They've put Sweden in some tough situations.
Looks pretty close
Looks
here.
great if he can get by that top yellow.
Ja, det är bra spelat.
That's not too bad there.
It's a good shot.
It is shot stone,
这个，
and
哇，你这个好打。
it's left it high enough so there's no slash for China, really.
这也行，11也行。行，你
She's still smiling.
长一点，这点他把
That actually ends up in a very nice spot. If that was ended up slipping back at the button, you could see just China play the slash on their yellow top 4. That's not really available, so Wang Rei is going to have to follow this down on the in-turn, try and tap it up, at least get to nose.
With that big finish, the shot's definitely there.
这球漏一半。
OK。3边大一点点儿。
行，我客定他都没有地方投，是吧？
对。
Yeah, and get a good sweeper. And Badashin as well. He's going to be sliding and sweeping on the right-hand side. You find that awkward?
That's what I was talking about earlier. Yes, I find it incredibly awkward to be pulling yourself along like
长线
that.
力。
And now he's switching over,
They're communicating, and she's just a bit wide here.
trying to tick it through the hole. No. Badashin showing some frustration.
No, no.
That happens. She overcompensated, I think, for what she thought the curl would do there.
打到这么大一小半。
I wonder if it's a little heavy as well.
It was heavy, definitely. I think that it was more weight than she wanted, but I think she got a little bit wide, thinking that she could get away with that from seeing
我看你这是啥？
earlier stones with the lighter weight.
Jag tror inte att det
Sometimes
blir bättre än den här.
you
Du
do
måste
that.
trycka undan den.
Man kommer runt och petar den.
Still
bara.
doesn't look easy to get in there for 2 though.
No.
Jag tror du spelar den. Du kan ju inte trycka bort egen.
Nej.
Vad spelar du på mig? Camilla? Alltså, det ska ju bara vara en dragning.
Ja.
Du ska trycka den
I
kanske
think what they're trying to do
1,5
is just
sten.
come down to that
Vad
red
tror
one
du då då?
enough to the inside that it kind of chips that yellow one over a
Yeah.
hair.
Just tickle the top one.
This is a very hard shot.
Well, she was having to make a similarly tough shot in the second end with that tap up to the button. This is definitely not easier. She's been left with some
Gärna
tricky shots indeed.
This looks pretty close if they keep going on it.
All right, coming down. Maybe just not enough weight for this one.
Yeah, it was a
Does-
very nice try though.
Does move the yellow one over, but not enough. Only the single point for Sweden. They will score. China, though, up by 1, 5 shots to 4 after 6 ends of play.
90 hade varit bra.
We have 2 more in this 8-end game.
Men skit att spela 7:an, det säger jag.
power play here.
Yeah, Kaylin, what is power play?
Well, you have one per team per game, and you can set your rocks up in the wings there. So you get the team with hammer gets their rock placed right above the tee line, right directly behind the halfway guard.
And I believe what happened here is they punched their own guard through, and in the men's or women's competition, you're allowed to remove your own stones, but not in
Right.
mixed doubles.
Yeah, no, you're not allowed to remove any stones until the 4th thrown stone of the game. So they were doing that to try and prevent Team China from being able to get another stone around that corner guard.
Yeah, we saw Scotland play the tick shot effectively against Norway earlier, and actually ended up stealing one in Norway's power play.
Yeah, more often, like I've seen so many steals with this power play, and as an offensive move, I'm unsure of the statistics surrounding scoring more than 2 with the power play when you have hammer.
Well, that will be interesting to see if our main statistician guy, Christian Sager, might provide us with some numbers on that
That'd
as
be great.
the week will progress.
Yeah, I'll definitely be looking at that.
Power play efficiency.
Yeah, there's different ways you can play that if you're up points. I do agree with that tick shot that they tried playing.
But you'd have to say, the way it's looking right now, it's pretty good for China.
Definitely.
2 rocks in behind the corner.
Yeah, that's why if you're not sure that tick shot, it's kind of nice to get one in. Like if you put it in the 4-foot, they can't hit it yet. So you're also minimizing the scoring area.
And Sweden having to play around this corner.
That's a great shot, though. It's a nice one. So now they can remove stones from play. So if they can just ever get a tap and a roll on top of those behind that corner guard, it's looking like the perfect power play end for Team China.
Yeah, generally I'd say just count up the stones in play. If there's 5 stones in play, you can start hitting. Although we did see that Swedish rock being removed, so there's one in the back there.
These power plays are often tricky too for the teams because you don't see anything coming off the center line all game. So I think they were tricked a little bit here.
Oh boy, this one not curling enough on Badashin. He's going to jam it. Yeah, don't throw too many to the wing, do you, in mixed doubles?
You don't, so you usually want to try and make sure you throw at least one in the pre-game practice. Obviously, the ice will change a lot during the game, but at least you'll know the line. It makes it tricky, though, to know what to throw and where to throw it.
And now a great chance for Per Norén to perhaps play a double. I'm not sure if they're just playing the hit and roll here or going for the skinny.
I did not see the call. There's a pretty thin double for Per here if he's playing it.
Not taking a lot of ice though, so I think they might be going for it.
I think they might just be playing the roll.
Very nice. Did it roll far enough?
It gives China a double opportunity to double and roll behind their corner and bring 3 back in play if they ever made it perfectly. Tough shot, though.
Per Norén exchanging a few words with our Swedish cameraman.
Was he in the way?
No, he's just saying, my heart rate's really going up when we're running up and down the ice that much. You have to be fit to play this game,
Det var lång va?
for sure.
You do. It's
Men vi kan ju försöka. Vi
it's
ska
becoming more and more that way.
Choppen är helt okej tycker jag.
Ska du spela upp och spela så här?
Ja.
I think you see the level of fitness go up in both men's, women's, and mixed doubles curling
腚往里边甩一点点也行，不太
over the past few years, especially.
定了，他在头2分签呢，想多了。
Yeah, even in juniors, you'll see most of the players are just as fit as the men's and women's.
4分16秒。
They're young. They have no excuse.
放慢节奏，最后一球。
Ja! Nej! Ja, ja! Nej, nej!
Big weight from Parnoden.
Huge weight.
I wasn't quite sure what the call was there. It looked like they were going for the roll.
I'm not sure why they would roll on that, just because if you ever roll the other way or nose it, you got a good force opportunity
Yeah.
set up. If you, the force meaning that they keep China to 1 on this power play, which is a really good outcome.
Yeah, but now by rolling to that spot, a chance for Badashin to make the double and throw away.
无能流里。
Yeah, if Sweden can keep China to 1 and then use their power play. It's like chess.
Horse! Horse! Whoa, whoa!
Over curling here.
Jesus.
And I believe that's going to leave a double again for Sweden.
Yeah, a bit of a easier double this time around.
Samma som min då.
Ja!
Well,
Oh, just a roll.
well, you might, play the roll, and if you catch it too thin, the double's always there. Just roll.
It's
don't
always
have
a
to
little scary.
Och med.
I guess you don't have to remove both the yellows as long as you roll into it.
Yeah, this looks pretty close.
Var rent.
Looks pretty good here from Camila Noren, and there we go. It just rolls on top of the yellow.
Really nice shot.
No way China scoring 2 here, and well, force efficiency for, or sorry, rather power play efficiency for our broadcasted games today is not looking too good.
Yeah, I've really been noticing that over the past, I guess it's been 2 seasons now with this power play in effect. And I don't know, when you have 2 really good, confident teams out there, it's often hard to get more than 1 with the power play. I've seen lots of teams use it in the 8th end when they only need 1 to win.
Yeah, well, that makes a lot of sense.
It does, yeah. Rather than
Use it
getting big points, though.
Yeah, use it as a defensive tool.
Exactly.
Well, we are down to the final rock here in the 7th end. It's Wang Rei just looking for the draw for 1. Power play didn't work out, but then again, even scoring here, not too bad for China. They're up by 1.
I think that was the objective of the end. Obviously, getting 2 is really big, but going up 2 points coming home is a really nice little cushion there.
Yeah, and they will. Scoreline after 7, 6 shots to 4 in favor of Team China.
没事，
And we'll be back
3分钟。
with the final end.
对，让他使用点线。
有点动太大。
这样只要说，你就先给他碰上，别管厚薄，先碰上。
Jag måste tänka, det känns ju som att det är lite glattare på den. Det är om du ska dra en sista, vad vill du dra för håll då?
Vill nog dra här, för det här var det ju så
Då
superlätt.
tar vi power.
power play back-to-back here.
As expected.
Yeah, and we'll see how it works out for Sweden. China could only score the single point. You see the yellow one there on the scoreboard indicating that China scored one with power play. And just like Sweden attempted to, now Wang Rui will try the tick shot on the corner guard. Coming up, well, not coming up rather.
This is not working out too badly for her as a plan B.
Yeah, that's always an option.
You don't see that often, but when the weight's right and you're a little wide, I guess that's an option.
Didn't really punch it too much in the open, so if Sweden can ever make a corner freeze on the ILO, they'll be sitting pretty.
Will be a good situation.
90.
And China also had a good thing going, but one big miss from Ba Dexin really destroyed everything.
Got the double sweep out here. Don't see that often anymore with two people sweeping mixed doubles. Usually just designate the one.
Yeah, it's T-mark.
Exactly.
Comes up a little bit short.
还是那边，
这点，
Does force
还是往那边走，
China
应该就哪
to,
边好一点。
你往这边一打听不就那啥了
I
吗？
was going to say
你先往这
keep
走
playing around the corner, but Ba
可以，
这
再来
点，
点。
yeah, they will come around the corner.
还是往
I
这
think
边
it's a
选
good
吧。
call.
OK，
Makes it good. It's going to be tricky
他
for
们15
Sweden
秒
to get in
5，我
there.
们15秒，14秒5到15秒。对，
这溜达大，没走过。
I haven't checked the time clocks for these two teams, but they seem to be playing quite quickly.
小不了。
Well, I can tell you that China has 2.5 minutes left. Sweden has 1 minute 52 seconds.
That's good time.
顶线一直擦号，再留2个顶线快。
I think usually teams are playing an end in roughly
不
maximum
赢
3 minutes.
可以啊可以啊，不赢不赢。
For a lot of thinking.
让我拿上面找。
Comes up short here, Ba Dexin. Chance for Sweden to sit two.
Ja, vi måste ju göra det.
So, come around here. You know, we're going to leave Ba Dexin a chance to run that yellow in.
Yeah, at what point do you think that you just draw the open side and say, I'm going to take my two here?
Well, that would be the option. But, of course, you don't mind scoring 3 either.
No.
Ja, den är,
Unfortunately,
det är
it's
risk.
a short little run back for Ba Dexin.
This will be deep. Parnaren stopping at the hog line, having a gander. And that's just going to slip through the rings. Big weight.
I think that's a situation again where you're not really playing in that path all that often.
Man lägger lite på då för att det ska längre ner, tänker
让
jag.
人直接打掉。
He maybe threw what he thought he needed, and it was just a little different.
He's just
Ska
saying
ju ändå
that
passera mittlinan.
they were wanting to draw that
Känns
deep,
det som att
probably
farten räcker
all the way
inte.
down to the tee line to make that run back
Då,
a little longer, and just overcorrected, just put too
Yeah.
much on it.
选一个好。
We
我打
got a
的话，我可
timeout
能找
here.
自己的。
Marcel Rock will
我
go
要
out
掉线
and
了，
help
找
Team
自己的也
China.
不太好。你像我找完了，他球咱球还是在后续，还我要投到这儿，是吧？他往哪投？他往这儿来，他往这儿来，我打上面再找就行，或者我再跟他一个。
你第二个吗？
我第二个。
你就往那儿投一个。
So this, you tuck a piece, just tuck a piece.
So Marcel Rock
Yeah, if you're-
played with Randy
long as
Furby for
guard-
many years.
As long as he can't get inside.
Yeah.
I grew
And
up
if-
around
if you
Marcel
rub-
in Edmonton.
And you're rolling in.
Quite the character.
You're going to have that freeze where they come around and you'll have to play maybe an 11.
Yeah.
But if you make it, then really good.
Saw
So
Randy
same
Furby's
thing.
cutout upstairs.
Sweep,
a little bit
sweeping
earlier,
plus,
got the whole team
sweeping
back
plus,
together.
Right? Yeah, 4, 5, 6. Now you can use this, you can use this. But come around, I think, is your call. Keep that at the end. Can you see that 6? If you
So what do you
need,
think,
come
Sandra?
around
Do you
wide
like the
with
come
a-
around?
Okay, so Yeah. But later, maybe.
That's what Marcel's calling
Just
for.
try to get around and tuck a piece.
就是在这儿都行，露出一半就行。
他说下
Well,
线
if
可以。
Marcel Rock
对，
likes
如果
it,
你要是输出让你下线了，
I like
滑
it.
进营也行。这球输需要否
Wonder how familiar he is with mixed doubles.
他刚问我那个外边能看到，能看一点儿，其实
就
一点儿。
I think I like
可有
it.
可能最后你可以用那个，他说。
We'll see.
我还是打三，我打稍微三面大一点点，一半半。还是条新道，有可能还是涩点儿。
So this is a time too where Pear's probably taking a time on this rock to see what he needs to throw on his next one.
5、6、6。
After missing that first one, he's going to want to know exactly what he needs.
下线，下线走，一直下
This
线
is，looking pretty close.
下线，
Yeah, coming in nicely here.
线路很好，差点
That's
差
It's
点
a really great shot.
yeah, pretty perfect.
不是这，这行，
The fans like
漏一
it.
点你看。
Yeah, you can see Sweden won't be able to come after that without jamming on their back red, and
下线他这
can barely see anything anyway.
薄是吧？
And it is lying shot stone.
Så den här de bumlar på. Vi lär ju vara rädda om den där.
Ja,
Det går ju inte att få bort den någonstans utan
Nej.
att träffa egen.
You could try and play on that top yellow one, just
Ja, snedfrysen
barely
här.
biting the
Ja, men om vi
house and
snedfryser
roll
den.
on and
Ja.
hope to get something.
Då kan ju de
Moving
spela
in the
mjuk
back.
och så trycker de på egen.
Timeout's been called by Sweden.
men eftersom det här kommer inte bli någon poängsten om vi inte får bort den här.
Nej, det är därför jag menar att om det är variant att kanske skjuta någon så här och vicka in den här så att vi ligger 2-3 och den här öppen.
Ja, vi höll på att säga det också där uppe. Att vi har, på de två har man ju en dubbel för att komma in i egen. Möjligtvis komma in i egen. Det andra alternativet är att frysa den där då, så tjockt som möjligt.
Den här ja.
Ja. Hur mycket... Kommer man in runt den så man nästan kan frysa upp den tjapp?
Ja, det gör man.
Ja.
Det går ju. Tycker du att vi ska
Den-
försöka...
Kommer man dit så är det en riktigt bra sten.
Då ligger vi 2-3. Det finns ju,
Ja.
man kan ju alltid skjuta på stenarna naturligtvis.
Absolut.
Tycker du vi ska göra det? då?
Komma upp så tjockt som möjligt på
Ja.
den då.
Men spelar du den utan... Ska jag följa med?
Nej, jag spelar. Nu vet jag förra. Jag behöver ju inte lägga på så pass mycket.
Well, I think it's pretty obvious what the call is here.
Pretty obvious.
Gonna freeze to the yellow shot stone. This is a pretty tough one to make. It's pretty much gonna have to get right to the nose of it to make sure you sort of angle that yellow stone away from your back red.
Yeah. Hopefully he can get that curl again on his stone here.
Ja, behöver kalla. Behöver kalla. Hur lång?
Ja, den är nästan förbi. Ja.
Might come around it if it's a little heavy here. And that's the plan B, the option.
Not so bad.
Okej.
It sits for shot. Forces China to have to make a perfect shot here as well.
Den där hade vi inte räknat med.
Nej, den är nästan helig.
Ja, det gick ju lätt att frysa den.
Ja, har man gått ganska nära den gadden så har man legat mitt på.
Kanske kan man peta lite på den.
你这下心碰你自己那个也没事儿
OK。
薄一点。
Just played a beautiful draw and almost the same path.
力量，
Yeah, that's always nice when you can do that. Follow your last one
这
down.
样。
下路可以顶线，哇，下线，
If he spills off at all here, there's a chance for
哇下线，
Sweden to get their 2 points.
下路很好，
Looking pretty good here.
下路很好，八哥。
You notice how Wang Rei starts up sweeping and then they switch. Wang Rei sits down, looks at the line from the back. Ba Shin takes over.
The muscle power there is pretty good.
下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线，下线,
The muscle power there is pretty good.
Yeah, you know, Wang Rei's got pretty good sweeping techniques, but she's a little petite compared to Badashin.
Yeah, he's got a few pounds on her.
That's a pretty good draw there, but still a chance for Sweden
把头就线站上，
to follow
是不是？
and
他
set up for at least the two.
没事，我感觉，你感觉呢？
If you actually freeze this yellow right in the nose, maybe tap it quarter of a rock, 2 inches, it might be pretty hard to remove.
Känns bra.
Line something up. If China doesn't make a perfect stone, there might be a shot for 3.
Yeah, some catchers on the side there, but this one
It's just a bit heavy again, I think.
Lite hårdare för...
way heavy. And Per Norén, it's just not like him.
Jippi.
He's been struggling a bit with his draw weight. What was the...
It's a very sarcastic yippee, which means
Spela två likadana.
Not very good.
hooray.
Fantastiskt.
Not too happy with himself there.
我打刚刚就掰边儿，
Yeah,
这就是这
that
样，
was a
往这儿
missed
投，
opportunity, definitely.
下路好直接这儿或者这儿都行。
Well, and they're good runs at the mixed doubles. What I remember is Per Norén, when he was playing rocks 1 and 5, is just welding those freezes on every single time. And just can't quite find his groove here today.
Yeah, I've experienced those two when they've been on fire, and they're pretty tough to beat.
Remember, Sweden needs to score 2 here. And the Wang Rei can make that pretty difficult for them.
站自己的极限，站自己的。
Yeah, she gets a good guard on here. There's not going to be much.
站自己的，
Almost looks like they're drawing in.
磕一点，磕，磕。
I'm surprised they're coming in all the way. It's a pretty good shot.
Yep, that should probably be enough. I wonder if you're going to have to make some run double, in off double to get your 2 here.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at it. They have 45 seconds left on the clock too.
Då blir det ju en sån här.
Ja.
Då kan det komma ner. Då är det bara att bestämma vart jag ska sikta.
Du ska ju
Sikta här.
Du ska ju skjuta den så att den...
Not
du
really
bör ju
having
skjuta
their
den
eye
här
on the
går.
clock here.
No.
Eller träffa,
Sometimes hard to manage that when you're
eller hur?
Ja,
looking at these circus type of shots.
Yep, on their way now.
om du
Alright,
siktar mitt på
22
på den och den
seconds.
sjunker ut.
Ja,
Just
Det är
enough
enda
time to
chansen
clean
du
this
har
down
där.
and throw. Player has to touch the tee line
Oj, jag har
before
lite
the
bråttom.
clock runs to 0.
jag har lite bråttom.
Camila Norén just realizing, took a look up at the clock.
Yeah.
7, 6, 5, 4,
Oh,
3,
dear.
2. She's good.
2
2 seconds left on the clock.
Den var borta.
Big weight, and maybe that was a bit too much of a disturbance because that's not really close.
Var inte i närheten.
Although that
Det blev
was
lite för lite tid
pretty
också.
much
Grattis.
an impossible shot to make. China will come out victorious.
Det blev lite hafsigt.
They'll steal a couple more points.
Ja, men nu saker det hinner iväg.
Ja, jag vet, men det var inte så mycket. Jag hann inte koncentrera mig.
Was that 2? I believe it was 2.
Exciting game.
Yeah, it was a good one, as expected. But I think Sweden just, I don't know, giving away too many opportunities. On a different day, different occasion, might be a different result, but final score for China, 8 shots to 4.
好久没潜字儿。
And if you stick around, we'll try and get a few words in with Team China and some of the highlights from this evening's game. Just running you through the scores elsewhere in the MTV Center today. Korea picks up a win against Australia. 8 shots to 1 there. Austria beats Israel 9 shots to 2. And we also had an exciting game against, well, between Ireland and Italy. Italy having to score 2 to pick up the win in the 8th end. They do. While Switzerland beats Romania 11 shots to 6. And that's the final scoreline for our future game between Sweden and China. Sweden and China in this evening's draw. We skip along to the third end after the teams trading singles. Wang Rui trying a fairly difficult slash. Doesn't make contact and actually leaves Sweden picking up a steal of 2. And that's a score after 3 ends of play. In the fourth end, Sweden was looking to play a top up on that redstone top 4. No contact from them, and freebie draw to the forfeit for Wang Rui, perfectly made. 3 points up on the board for Team China as they lead it coming into the halftime break. Just in the fifth end, pretty much a checkmate for Sweden. They'll just throw the last rock away. China steals 1, and they will increase their lead to 2 shots, 5-3. Trading a couple of singles through 6 and 7. Sweden needing to score 2 for the extra and 8. That didn't happen, so final score there. China wins it 8-4. So just waiting for Team China. We have our expert Kaylin Park, and they're ready to go.
You had a really great game out there. What are you going to do tomorrow against Israel?
Tomorrow just keep play.
And secondly, how's the ice?
Ice. 说中文没事。
他说是
Ice 冰场。
冰场，感觉挺好的，今儿弧线都很大，
Yeah,
然后
ice
都基本
really
都能
good
完成。
and have last curve. We like this ice.
Well, thanks, guys, and have a good week.
Thank you. Thank you. 好，好。
Badashin, always a happy character. We'll have more curling action for you tomorrow. 3 sessions, in fact, at 2:30 local time, 5:45 local time, and 9 o'clock. So join us again here at World Curling TV for more mixed doubles action.